Welcome to the MoneyRx for CRNAs podcast, where you go behind the scenes with host Brett Fellows, CFP, as he explores the unique opportunities and challenges facing certified registered nurse anesthetists along the path to financial independence. In each episode, Brett shares expert insights and actionable advice, equipping you with the tools you need to take control of your financial destiny and retire on your terms. And now, here's your host, Brett Fellows.
Welcome to the MoneyRx for CRNAs podcast. All right, well, welcome back. It is week number 2 of the podcast series that I am doing on my new book, MoneyRx for CRNAs, Secrets and Strategies to Maximize Wealth and Retirement. So if you listened to my last episode, you know that I'm spending 5 weeks walking you through each of the 5 chapters of the MoneyRx for CRNAs book. And this is week 1, which is honestly one of my absolute favorite chapters. So I've developed a framework over the last nearly 2 decades in this business that I use to help CRNAs streamline literally everything in their financial life, and I call it MoneyRx for CRNAs. Essentially, I've taken all the big financial decisions, the small financial decisions, and I've organized them for you. This is the framework that we work off of with our CRNA client community. And our new client onboarding kicks off March 3rd, unless you're already on the waiting list. So we are starting off March making 2025 your most organized and your most systematized and your most delegated year yet. So if you're considering joining us, or if you just want to find out more information, absolutely zero pressure, you can schedule a discovery call directly with me to find out if it's the right program for you at the time. I am happy to talk through all the details with you. You can find the link to schedule the discovery call out on our website, oakcapitaladvisor.com. Book a pre-op assessment page. I'm happy to tell you if we're a good fit or if we're not a good fit. I'm actually very particular about who gets to join our CRNA client community. And if it's not a good fit for you, I will gladly tell you, because my job is to get you across the finish line. So if you're not quite ready, which I would suggest not scheduling a pre-op assessment if you're not in the first 2 years of your CRNA career. If you're not quite ready, I will let you know and kind of give you some markers, which would be ideal benchmarks for you to hit before it makes sense for you to consider joining our CRNA client community. And we have in our CRNA client community ranging from $200,000 income solo CRNAs up to CRNA households with greater than $500,000 in household income, 1099 CRNAs, W-2 CRNAs with $1 million net worth. It's appropriate for a wide variety of CRNAs in a wide variety of circumstances. Now, of course, the issues that a $200,000 solo CRNA household income runs into versus a $750,000 household income are totally different, which is why we divide you up into 2 different groups. But back to the book. Essentially, there are 5 layers that I see that are required to provide tailored financial guidance around the distinct challenges you face. So I like to think of it, like I mentioned last week, as a cake. Each layer has its own ingredients, and when you add all the right ingredients in the right order, layer after layer, you end up with a super sweet financial plan, which means less overwhelm or less frustration or less stress about what you think you're getting wrong. You get to build a financial plan and a life that you love. So over the course of these next 5 episodes together, we're going to dive into each of the book's chapters every episode. So there is number 1, checking your vitals, which we're going to cover today, aligning money with purpose, purposeful spending, being an owner not a loaner. And let's talk about taxes and retirement. And each episode, I'm going to walk you through that chapter and what is involved, and I'll give you a roadmap and some resources to build out from that chapter. Now, in this episode, we're going to dive into chapter number 1, which I call Checking Your Vitals. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is where we really get to start digging into building out what's important about money to you, which then helps us clarify your financial goals, which makes a huge difference in your financial life. And this is a fun one. This is where you move the needle. This is where you have this big sigh of relief when your values become so clear that you can finally move forward making decisions about your money with confidence. So let's get into this. This is a great one, and I'm really excited. Look, I know you're here because you know it's possible to have energy left over for your family and still have confidence in your financial life. And you know what I'm talking about. That dream of earning a big income as a CRNA and controlling your money instead of it controlling you, which is the complete premise of the MoneyRx for CRNAs, Secrets and Strategies to Maximize Wealth and Retirement book. If you're new to MoneyRx for CRNAs, I am so very excited that you are here. I'm Brett Fellows, and I started from scratch and have created a 7-figure financial planning practice as a solo advisor, all while working 3.5 days a week and taking off 150 days each year so that I could be more than just a professional. I could be a dad, a husband, a friend, a brother, a son. And I'm excited to share what I have learned over the last 20 years as a financial advisor that have allowed me to create wealth and increase my own net worth. So whether as a CRNA you want to work part-time or full-time, I want you to be maximizing and creating wealth so efficiently and having so much fun in your CRNA career that your net worth is just constantly screaming productivity. I want you to be able to step out of your career on the weekends and in the evenings with a sense of calmness and peace and not living in a constant state of financial overwhelm. So I'm here just to walk alongside you and to show you how to exactly do that and to help you take immediate action on the most important strategies for scaling, organizing, and creating less stress and overwhelm in your financial life. We are about to transform how you think about money, one subject, one worksheet, one mindset at a time. It is time to take that one right next step to create the financial life that you've always dreamed about. So last week, I introduced you to the book and kind of the reason why I wrote the book, or my story, and why I wrote it for CRNAs. Now let's jump into the first layer, what I call checking your vitals. So when we think about money, the conversation can seem straightforward at first glance. After all, isn't it all just about strategy and numbers? Some might say it's a technical game, pretty complex, mathematical, and once you understand it, you're all set. But in my experience, money is about so much more than just strategy. It's deeply intertwined with our emotions. And whether we realize it or not, we all have strong feelings tied to our financial situation. Some people feel confident and secure when it comes to money, while others may feel anxious or protective or even reckless if those emotions go unchecked. And when you're in a partnership where finances are intertwined, well, then the conversation can become even more emotionally charged because you have two sets of feelings, two beliefs, two experiences about money that can either bring out the best or the worst in both partners. But when we step back and take a look at the full spectrum of emotions surrounding money, we can begin to see how certain behaviors stem from those feelings. And in turn, those behaviors will often fuel a cycle that continues unless we consciously make changes. And at their worst, these behaviors can lead to financial mistakes like credit card debt, or a lack of retirement savings, or choosing the wrong accounts that may cost you big in taxes later on. But at their best, healthy financial habits can transform your entire future, putting you and your loved ones on the path to abundance and security. As a CRNA, I'm telling you, you have the power to create a positive relationship with money. With the right plan in place, you can ensure that your money works for you, not only in retirement, but for generations to come. How you behave with money is often more important than what you know. I see this time and time again when I sit down with people, especially CRNAs, who are some of the smartest and most capable individuals I've worked with. Maybe they know quite a bit about money, but their behavior just doesn't always align with that knowledge. Maybe emotions took over at some point, or perhaps they made decisions that felt right in the moment, but weren't in line with their long-term goals. Now, they're trying to course correct before it puts too much strain on their financial future in, say, something like retirement. So it doesn't surprise me that many successful CRNAs are confused when it comes to savings and retirement. Because when they do something, they want to do it right. They don't just want good advice, they want the best advice. They've often got a shelf full of books about investing or finances, but they simply don't have the time to really dive in. So rather than do the wrong thing, they do nothing. And of course, it's not just the fear of making a mistake that holds us back from taking action. It's also mistakes we've already made that we don't want to own up to. Often just the idea of having to open up our bank statements can be stressful, so we let them pile up, hoping that something will happen to change our situation. Of course, what actually needs to change is our own behavior. But that is easier said than done. Now, I always tell my clients that coming in to speak with a financial planner is one of the best decisions they can make. Today is always better than tomorrow, and there's always time to make adjustments. Even small financial missteps, if left unchecked, can lead to bigger issues down the road. Worse, they can lock you into strategies that don't help your money grow the way it should once you've retired. And so every action has consequences, both good and bad, and I want to help you make sure your financial actions lead to the best possible outcomes. And let me take a moment to say how fortunate I feel to work with such motivated individuals like you. I know you may feel frustrated or overwhelmed right now, but I'll tell you, you're already well on your way to a financially secure future. And the best part? It doesn't have to be as complicated as it seems. Now, yes, there are certainly details to consider when it comes to things like investment accounts and taxes, and some of it may not seem intuitive at first. But once you understand the basics and create a clear, simple plan, I promise you'll be set for the rest of your life. Yet I often have clients walk into my office very eager to talk about the latest stock trends or day trading strategies that promise fast results. And I always encourage these clients to remain calm and steady. For retirement goals, simplicity is key. The fastest way to reach your goals is to find clarity about which path makes the most sense for you. That's why I love using a twist on the old saying, keep it simple, smarty. Overthinking can lead to inaction, and inaction is the enemy of progress. So we're going to start today, take small steps, and watch your money grow as you move closer to your goals. So as you plan for retirement, there are several key areas to focus on, and we'll cover those in the chapters or layers in the cake to come. But let me say this up front. Life happens, and things won't always go as planned. So financial planning isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing. In fact, it's just the opposite. Many of my clients will come in for financial check-ins every spring and fall on a 6-month cycle. Now, this regular cadence helps ensure that the financial strategies we've put into place are on track. And it also opens up space for important conversations about any life changes that might affect their financial future. Things like changes in living arrangements, career transitions, new partnerships, or shifts in family dynamics are all part of life. And when your financial plan is flexible and adaptable, these changes won't derail your future. The first few conversations might feel daunting, especially if it's been a while since you've taken a close look at your finances. But once we establish a long-term plan, it becomes like an insurance policy for your future. And then the unknown isn't as scary when you know your financial foundation is solid. And financial planning isn't about striving for perfection. It's about accepting that things will sometimes go off course and having a plan that can evolve with you. And just as important, it's about getting crystal clear on what you want out of life. When you're clear on your priorities, you'll be less tempted to chase after what everyone else seems to have, whether it's the flashy car or the latest gadget, just the stuff that doesn't align with your real goals. Another thing I've learned is that we're all in this together. The specifics may vary from person to person and family to family, but most of our money decisions are driven by a desire to feel happy, safe, and secure. Of course, my version of happiness, safety, and security will probably look nothing like my friend's who has no kids and just wants to have time to travel and pursue her creative goals. So why should my financial plan look like hers? Which brings me to a final reason for putting a plan into place. Creating a financial plan is one of the best ways of giving yourself something that everyone wants more of: time. A lot of us think that financial planning is boring and by the numbers, and it can be. But I believe it can actually be a truly exciting and revealing process. It's about realizing the connection between tangible things like the money we make and the intangible things like how it feels to be there when our daughter scores her first goal. It's about being really honest about where you want to go, getting really clear about where you are now, and then making your best guesses about how to narrow the gap between the two. And so this book is here to help you create that kind of clarity and build a plan that can change as your life does. We'll make sure your plan aligns with your goals and values. We'll ensure your emotions and behaviors don't derail your financial future. And we'll start by having the important conversations that lay the foundation for financial abundance in retirement. And so that's kind of checking your vitals chapter in a nutshell. Behavior and emotional control, simplicity and clarity, and being in it for the long haul. That is checking your vitals. And while it's only 3 kind of major points, there are 5 arduous points. There are 5 long, time-consuming, very involved pieces. But these are also the ones, the mindsets that I said that are going to move the needle in your financial life. They're going to make the biggest impact. They're going to be the biggest overwhelm reducers. These are going to be the mindsets that let you sleep at night knowing that nothing is slipping between the cracks. And that you're going to be doing everything that you said was important to you. And that you're going to be doing everything that you want to do for your life. So those, to me, are some of the biggest frustrations that I experience creating my own financial plan and for the CRNAs that I work with in our client community. While in our CRNA client community, we don't go through every single thing, we really focus on the area you need the most support in. We don't literally go through every single thing except for this checking your vitals phase. We literally talk about all these 3 behaviors because it's so amazingly important. So whether you join our CRNA client community or not, this is something I want you to read or listen to again. And I want you to spend the time to work on your mindset around money, because this is where the game changes. This is where everything starts to click and falls into place. This is that inflection point for someone's financial life to run like a well-oiled machine versus the person who knows what to do, but is kind of running around like their hair's on fire, like all the time, worrying about money. And what I want to help CRNAs, or I feel particularly passionate about, is helping CRNAs get out of that, okay, I just have to get through this credit card debt, then I'm really going to have the money to save for retirement. That constant feeling of, it's really, really crazy right now, but once I get through this, then I'll get started. And if you find yourself saying that all the time, then this is the mindset that you really need to pause and actually take time to do this work and change your mindset so that you get to a place where you feel like you're actually just being fully present. You're experiencing life, you're experiencing your career and enjoying your career while you're working in it versus being in that constant state of overwhelm where you're just trying to get through the next couple of days or just trying to get through the next couple of weeks. If it's a goal of yours, I want to help you get to that place where you're not tethered to the job, constantly working and worrying about all of the things. And this checking your vitings level is one of the most instrumental ways to really move you away from that money mindset. And of course, if you want to go really deep and get the details, the frameworks, the camaraderie, and the accountability to actually get this stuff done, we would love to have you in our CRNA client community. As I mentioned in the beginning, we're currently registering for March 3rd for our next new client onboarding. If you don't join us for that round, we'll be running again in May. And of course, if working with an advisor is just not your jam and you like to DIY it, go ahead and follow along these next 4 weeks as we continue to go through each layer of the MoneyRx for CRNAs, Secrets and Strategies to Maximize Wealth and Retirement book. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And as always, if you found this episode or any of the episodes of the MoneyRx for CRNA podcast to be helpful, to give you any tactical advice, I would love it if you would do me a solid and leave a comment or leave a review. It means a lot to me and it helps other CRNAs find the show. Thanks so much, and I hope you guys have an awesome week. If you would like a copy of my book, you can buy the physical book or Kindle version directly from Amazon, and there's a link in the show notes. If you'd like a free electronic copy, click the Get My Free Copy link in the show notes, and we will happily send you one.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. This podcast does not engage in rendering legal, financial, or other professional services.